Good morning. Hello, Vante. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome in. How are you doing today? I hope YouTube doesn't get mad at me. I have censored her, technically, because I want to decide what I'm going to put her in. I have a couple of ideas for clothing. So she's just kind of undressed at the moment, but censored. So hopefully that'll be okay for YouTube. And I kind of want to decide what I'm gonna put her in. Good. Had a busy day. Now you deserve rest. Absolutely do. I hope your busy day was at least pleasant and productive. I've had a very busy weekend. My family has announced it to other people, so I feel like I can say it as well. These past few weeks with family have been very stressful because my sister went into preterm labor and she had her baby. He was supposed to be here in February, so he's very early, and it has been quite scary for all of us, especially for her. This is her first child, so it's been quite scary, quite stressful. I've been over at her house a lot, cooking and cleaning and just kind of doing as much as I can. Uh, while she and her husband are over in the NICU, looking after their little guy. So for the moment, he's stable. So we all kind of feel like we can take a breath for the moment. But if you've been wondering where I am, that is where I've been. How are you? You sound better today. I'm feeling better. It's been very stressful and very scary recently, but in terms of how I'm feeling physically with my meds and everything, I am feeling better. So I'm glad for that because definitely needed to be there for my sister. So feeling well enough to be there is quite important to me. So let's see here. It would probably help if I had my tablet in front of me. Let me do that. And let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet. But hopefully it's good. He's so tiny. I hope he grows up to be a strong little guy. Me too. Me too. I'm really hoping for the best. Of course, we all are. He weighs 1 pound 13 ounces, so he's very small. He's really small. Um, I don't know how to convert that to like international units. How do you normally weigh babies in your country? Here in America, we use pounds and ounces, but I know that's not universal. What do you guys use? Grams? I'm not sure of the other units, but he's very small. Music sounds good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I do have my audio set so that when I start speaking, the music automatically gets a little bit quieter, and then it comes back to its normal volume when I'm done. But hopefully it's not too loud or too quiet. All right, let's see here. Again, hopefully YouTube doesn't get mad at me. She is technically censored. I also have all my sketch lines showing here, but that's okay. I will probably try to do is finish lining Cyril and kind of some of his clothing, and then hopefully I can start color blocking in both of them. He weighs half a kilogram. He's absolutely tiny. So when I was born, I was also a premature baby. So I was also born early, but I was born much later than my nephew. When I was born, I weighed 3 pounds even, which was considered wildly small. It is incredibly small. And he weighs 1/3 of what I weighed. Well, okay, maybe a little bit more than a third, but roughly a third of what I weighed as a baby. So quite scary, but he's doing all right. So for the moment, he's stable. He kind of goes up and down multiple times each day, which is normal for a preterm baby. But we're hanging in there. My sister's doing okay. She and her husband are, they're both getting through it. So he's a little guy. My sister's husband got to do his first skin to skin with the baby yesterday, so that was good. My sister obviously has been doing it for several days. And the baby, surprisingly, is actually starting to open his eyes now and then, which I find quite interesting. So, here's hoping. Here's hoping for the best for both of them. Okay, I can start hiding some of these sketch lines because I want to work on some of Cyril's clothing. This is the first time I've lined a piece in a very long time, which has been interesting. I haven't done it in so long, but I'm enjoying it. Let's see, where's my sketch layer? There we go. Me too. My parents had to get me on an ambulance to another bigger city I just refused to eat. Yeah, I think from what I remember my parents telling me about when I was born, I know I weighed 3 pounds. I know that my dad's wedding ring could fit like all the way up my arm to my shoulder, and then I believe I believe I had to be induced because I was not gaining any weight in the womb. So that my understanding is that I had stopped developing, and so they had to initiate birth. Versus my sister's baby, I don't think there was any stagnation of his growth, and he just decided to come early. I don't know why. We haven't really received any kind of diagnosis, for lack of a better word, of why he came earlier. They usually run a bunch of tests and they try to kind of isolate, like, oh, was there some sort of infection, or this, that, or the other. But we don't know yet. Um, I'm sure my sister wants to know because she does want to have more children. This is her first child. And I know she wants a family. She wants multiple children. I don't know how many, but I know she wants multiple. So hopefully they can provide some sort of clarity that can kind of give her some peace of mind should she and her husband want to have more children in the future. So fingers crossed for that. A nightgown would look ethereal. I am so I'm loving the idea of a nightgown so much. And I want to kind of fiddle with like possible designs for the nightgown. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna. That was my first thought because it would be the vibes, just chef kiss. They would be immaculate. So that's my first lean is towards a nice kind of blousey nightgown, like very Victorian uh, nightgown. I think that'd be really fun. But we'll see. Because another reason that I'm kind of picking this up is one of my friends has recently bullied me into trying to use a different drawing software than what I'm currently using. Right now I'm currently using Sai, which is my standard drawing software. And my friend really wants me to try using CSP. I have CSP. I own it. I was gifted it many, many years ago. However, for one reason or another, I find it more or less impossible to use. I really can't get any kind of control or sensitivity with my brushes, no matter what settings I fiddle with, no matter how many brushes I try. And I kind of went through. My friend uses CSP, so they're more familiar with it, and they kind of sat down with me and we called for a little bit, and I kind of showed them, what I was dealing with on CSP and kind of why it felt so impossible to use. And their hypothesis is that my tablet that I'm using, which is an old tablet, I do use quite an old tablet. If you were around recently for my adventure where I lost my pen sensitivity and couldn't get it back for like an entire night, that was fun. My tablet's quite old, and so they kind of hypothesize, well, maybe your tablet is too old to be supported by CSP, and that's why you're having so much trouble. Which I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I guess we're gonna find out. But CSP does have a lot of tools that are very, very useful for things that I would like to do. Like, it would be really helpful to use some of the like stamps and brushes and everything that CSP has available for animatics. It would help make that process a lot faster. So I want to give it a try, and this illustration is kind of something that I'm hoping might help me go over to CSP, because I'm probably still going to be doing like my base drawing here in Sai just because it's what's comfortable. But things like details and textures, and brushes and gradients and all that kind of stuff, I might start trying to use CSP for that. Again, assuming that with an updated tablet, I can get it to work. So that's the plan. Good job, team. Fingers crossed for the little one and for your sister. Yes, absolutely. Children are so stressful no matter how old they are. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know I still stress my mom out. But yeah, it's a very scary situation to go through for any mother, but especially for a first time mother. So I really hope that, it doesn't dissuade my sister from pursuing the family that I know she wants. She seems to be doing okay. She's taking it well, all things considered. I met up with her yesterday morning for a coffee, and just kind of talked to her to see how she's doing, how she's feeling, and she's doing fine. New drawing programs are exciting to try out. I'm cautiously optimistic because CSP really does have a lot of features that would be very, very helpful if I could just use the damn things. But I've always had a really, really hard time with it. So, I mean, just fingers crossed that it is just the fact that my tablet is old and updating my tablet will fix my problem. Because that would make my life a lot easier. But we'll see. Because I would really like to practice things like painting and be able to use things like there's a lot of brushes for environments, so like windows and like chains and vegetation, trees, grass, flowers, yada yada yada. There's all these things that would be really, really helpful for speeding up the process, so I don't have to draw absolutely everything by hand. Like even like there's a chainmail brush. I found a chainmail brush, or excuse me, mail if you want to be really pedantic about it. But that's if you don't know what I'm talking about. When I draw armor, like for Levi or Domingo, they have chainmail or mail underneath their plate armor. And normally what I have to do is I have to draw every single little ring by hand. There's a brush that does all that for me, and I could just use that if I could just use CSP. So it would really, really help speed things up a lot in terms of like animatics. It would allow me to put more detail into my animatics. So I've been really frustrated with the fact that I'm kind of locked out of this program that's very, very useful, and a lot of artists that I know speak so highly of it. So I am really hoping that it is just the fact that my tablet is old and that's why it isn't working, because if I get a new tablet and then it turns out CSP still is basically unusable for me. That'll kind of suck, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I remember you drawing chainmail by hand on one of the streams. I know. Uh, I suffer. Tell us your review if you do get to try it out. I will definitely let you know. I've been, because people have asked me multiple times, what drawing software do I recommend? And I will always recommend Sai because it's what I started with, it's what I learned on. There's also Sai 2 now, which I don't own, I haven't tried. Maybe I will. I'm not sure. But basically, Sai is you guys can't see like my interface. You can only see the canvas because I have the screen cropped to that. But Sai is much more straightforward. It's a lot simpler to do things. In some ways, it's very bare bones. So it's really good in my subjective opinion. It's very good for a beginner because it really streamlines things. You don't have an overwhelming UI that you have to customize. You're not completely overwhelmed with all these different features and utilities. It's very good for just starting out and getting comfortable with digital art, which if you're coming from traditional can be, or if you're not coming from traditional and you're just starting digital art in general, it can be very overwhelming. Sai also has the best brush stabilization, in my, again, subjective opinion. So I really tend to recommend Sai when people ask me, oh, what software do you recommend? A lot of other artists that I meet swear by CSP. So if I can learn CSP to the point that I can comfortably recommend it to others, I think that'd be really nice. But we'll see. We will see what happens. But it would be very nice if I could get to use some of the features that CSP offers, because it would make my life a lot easier. case you're ever wondering why I don't usually stream line art, this is why. Because me doing line art is just this for hours, undoing and redoing the same line until I'm happy with it. Sounds very tempting to try it out for an artist like you. I'm really, I'm really hoping. I really like the feeling of drawing on Sai, because I did come over from traditional art, and basically the airbrush that I use on Sai, which is the brush you see me using all the time, feels very much like how I would use a pencil back when I was doing a lot of traditional art. And that feeling is what I cannot replicate in CSP. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many settings I fiddle with, it always feels like I'm drawing with a mouse, which, for comparison, that's with my pen. This is with my airbrush. This is with my mouse. You can see the difference in the sensitivity. And that is just, some people that I have spoken to say that that's just the way CSP is and you have to get used to it. And others have said, oh, like my friend has said that, it's probably your tablet is too old, so it's not reading sensitivity correctly. I really hope that my friend who said the latter is correct, because I don't believe in the idea of suffering for your art. Because a lot of artists that I don't speak to anymore told me that I just have to suffer through it, and I just have to learn to adjust to the CSP stability for their brushes, which I could not actually physically do without being in pain within like 5 minutes of trying to use CSP. So it's not just the idea that like, oh, it's really frustrating to use, I don't enjoy it, whatever. It's like it physically caused me pain to use. And again, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you should suffer for your art. I'm like, nope. I suffer in daily life enough. I don't need to also suffer in my creative outlets that I do for the joy of them. So no, we're not going to do that. So I am hoping that the new tablet helps, at least. We'll see. I also know that it's quite early, but I do have to ask, have you set up any Christmas decorations? Or whatever your winter holiday of choice, if you celebrate one, have you set up any decorations yet? Because I may or may not have set up my tree this weekend. Make that a little bit lighter first. I haven't, but it did start snowing. Oh, lucky. Well, I say that. I mean, naturally, I don't get snow where I am. My elevation is too low, yada yada yada. But we did get some rain, and I was absolutely thrilled. It finally felt like proper winter weather to have it be raining and chilly and stormy. It was wonderful. It didn't last very long, but it was wonderful while it did last. Did America switch time for the winter period? Yes, we did. Daylight savings. Today's stream is an hour later. Yeah, it's an hour later. And actually, a friend of mine is in one of the time zones here in the US where for part of the year we're on the same time zone, and then for part of the year we're out of alignment. So now we're out of alignment for winter until spring. No, absolutely not. I haven't packed up my Halloween decorations. Man, I don't have any Halloween decorations. If I did have them, or if I had any kind of like fall decor, I feel like I would keep it up. But with how stressful things have been, I'm like, this is also my first. I was gonna say Halloween. This is my first Christmas slash winter in my new place and with like my own space to decorate. I say this like I'm gonna do a lot of decorating. I'm not. I have a single tree, and it's like a small tree that goes on top of a table. But I got a bunch of decorations for it yesterday, and I wanted to put it together, so I did. Maybe I'll pull up a picture of it so you guys can see. It's not done yet because I haven't found a tree topper. I want to get a little angel to go on top, but it's really hard to find one that's actually small enough to go on this tree. So we'll see. I'm still on the prowl. I'll probably still make a few adjustments to it. There's a cute little owl on it. It's very cute. Let me do some erasing and then I'll show you guys the Christmas tree that I set up. Its placement is not finalized. It's just that I happen to be assembling a cabinet yesterday as well. So everything was kind of strewn all about, but we'll see. I will figure out a proper place for it once I get rid of some of like the cardboard boxes and everything from the cabinet that I assembled. It still adds to the whimsy. Totally decorate more if you feel like it. I want to get just like general decor for my place. So I have this really lovely clock that I still haven't hung up. Um, I have a couple of pieces that are the start to a gallery wall. I want to do some more decoration in my quote-unquote office. Like I want to put some shelves up, things like that. So those come first. Once I have like the general decor, then I can start doing some more like seasonal specific stuff. But the tree's non-negotiable. The tree for Christmas has to be there no matter what. Okay, here, let me save this and I will pull up a quick picture that I took of the Christmas tree that I set up. There we go. There's my little tree. It's up on top of a table, which is why it's floating in that picture. But yeah, so it's just a start. I do want to get a little topper for it, but it's very cute. It was kind of hard to find things that were small enough for it because it's a pretty small tree. But I also got these like little like bell. Well, I thought they were ornaments. I thought they were little bell ornaments, but they were actually like a string of bells. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep those. They're kind of up towards the top, but they've got like this really bright gold thread that they're strung on, and I don't really like how that looks. I'm very picky about my Christmas tree, if you couldn't tell. Owl mentioned yet again, do you associate yourself with it? I wish that I could associate myself with owls for like their grace. Wisdom is like a traditional thing that they're associated with. I just think they're cute little guys. We probably do need to name this little guy. I don't know. What do we think? What do we think he looks like? It's adorable. Thank you. I feel like he needs a name, but I'm not sure what his name should be. Or she. Could be a little could be a little lady, a little lass. Also, the best part, I got this Christmas tree for free. When I moved into this place back in June, I got really, really lucky, and there was an estate sale just down the street from my other house that I was moving out of. And I basically got to stop there, and they had just all this stuff. That's where I got like those two armchairs. That's where I got those. I got like a bunch of like, really boring but very important things, like cutlery and dishes and a first aid kit and cleaning supplies, like all those things that you need when you move into a new apartment. But I was able to get a bunch of that, which was really, really great. And I got, these lovely chairs. I got this cute little tree, and the tree itself was actually free. It was just in a bin in like the backyard of the house that was hosting the estate sale. And it was just in a big bin full of stuff and just free on the side of it. And the lights work. George? George, or we could give him the Greek pronunciation of George, which is Yorgo. Little Yorgo. I don't know, I think it's pretty cute. I associate myself with turtles and cats. Turtles are so cute. I love a good turtle. I wonder if I still have. I don't think I don't. Hold on. Now I have to see if I still have it. I went to a Renaissance fair with a buddy of mine a couple years ago, and they had a tortoise racing competition where you got to bet on a tortoise of your choice, and you hopefully your tortoise won the race. And ours did. The one that we bet on did win. And so that meant we each got to like pick a little thing to get out of their little grab bag prize, whatever. I wonder if I can find it. I'm assuming I still have it. It just may not be in the spot where I remember putting it. But anyways, the thing that I chose out of their little grab bag was a little bitty turtle, not tortoise, but turtle charm, for lack of a better word. It's a little turquoise bead of a turtle that's on like a piece of black ribbon. I used to have it hanging off of my bag here, which I'm looking through, but oh, yep, here it is. I found it. It is exactly where I thought it was. All right, hold on. I'm gonna have to get a photo of it and then send said photo to myself. That variant of George would be perfect. Yorgo? All right, well, little Yorgo. He's a very clever young man. Okay, let me send this picture to myself, and I'll bring it up on stream. There we go. Here's the little charm that I won at the Renaissance Fair. It is a little turquoise turtle. He's very cute. Sarah, Miss Fantasy says hi. She can't type in the chat. Oh no. Let me take a look. I have had issues with YouTube over the past couple days, so it might be. Let me take a look. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, because I think they're rolling out some like viewer verification thing, and as with most YouTube rollouts, it's very unclear what they're doing, yada yada. So let me take a look. You might have to refresh the stream a few times, but I'll see what I can do for you. Turquoise turtle, I know he's so cute. I don't think I ever gave him a name, but he's a precious little guy. He hangs off of one of the zippers on my book bag. And you can see the dark spots on my fingers from where I got bitten by one of my dolls when I tried to restring her. That was my Vonta. You're the only one who's gonna know this character. Um, but I was restringing the doll for Ufa, and she bit me twice. But it's fine. I got her taken care of. She pinched me real bad though. They're wondering why I'm the only one spamming the institution. Well, I do know that Babel, unfortunately, cannot be here today. It's not unfortunate, though. She's actually celebrating her 10th wedding anniversary. So she's obviously busy today, so she can't be here. Usually she would be in chat. Let me take a look here. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that works. I tried toggling on and off the viewer, like auto viewer moderation. It's supposed to help with bots, which I'm coming over from streaming on Twitch, and bots are a huge problem. But hopefully that solves it. You can try refreshing the stream and see if that works. I have no idea how they choose to filter people, though. I don't know if there's like age verification or any of that kind of shenanigans going on. Right. Okay, so Cyril should be about fully lined. I'm not gonna do... No, I'm just kidding. I'm a liar. I'm a filthy liar. He still needs his sash, but his sash is going to be tangled up with another part that I have not lined yet. I will show you guys the sketch. So you can kind of see what it's gonna be. There we go. So Cyril's sash, which I have not drawn in, I've sketched it in, but I haven't lined it yet. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit to do because, let's see, where's that layer? I'll do it in white so it's easier to see, just with a big brush. It's basically his sash. Come on, that's too small. It's basically his sash is going to like come down over here, and it's gonna be. This isn't exactly it, but it's basically gonna be like tangled up with this arm right here. So something like that. I haven't really sorted out the details just yet. And these hands I'm not going to draw right now. They're going to be a real pain in the ass to draw. I just don't feel like drawing them right now. Oofa, whatever you did to her, she bit you. That's it. I had to restring her because I had to swap out the bust piece that she came with. By default, she came with one size, and I needed to swap her to the other one. And yeah, so I had to completely disassemble her, well, partially disassemble her, put the new bust on, and then reassemble her, and she bit me while doing that. She pinched me really bad, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt, it just looks bad. Hello, Sarah, welcome. I'm doing alright, how are you? But yeah, so that's the start of that. And I don't want to work on those hands right now because I haven't entirely decided what they're going to be just yet. They might, I'm still undecided, but they might be, oh, that's too small. They might be little skeleton guys. This one's actually like holding onto her. This one's like actually grabbing her arm. So they might be little skeletons, or they might not, and they might just be like bloodied hands. I'm not entirely sure which one it's going to be just yet. I haven't decided, because either one would technically work. But yeah, so that'll come later once I kind of decide what it's going to be. And Cyril's sash will go with whatever I decide that's going to be. So let's take a look at her clothes. We can just kind of hide him in the background for now. When it comes to a nightgown, I can't wait to see the result. Thank you. I am hoping that, because I'm working on this in a large enough canvas at large enough DPI to potentially, maybe, no promises, but to potentially make this available as a print. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how it comes out. So when it comes to a nightgown, I have to think kind of what design I want to do, because there's a couple different designs that come to mind. I'll just do some very basic sketching of different silhouettes, and we'll kind of decide what I want to do from there. Ruffles will fix me. So this is the first, just like the first idea, and yes, there are little like sensor boxes that go in front of her, so there's gonna be gray boxes that hide certain things, but that's okay. Um, but then I will do another one just to kind of see what silhouette I like the most. That's kind of one version with basically the biggest changes in the neckline and the sleeves. Because the other option, still ruffles, because we love a ruffle. Actually, I think I'd probably do off the shoulder for this. So different neckline, different sleeves. I won't let the animal associations go. Would Brontë be a black kitty? You know, probably, because a lot of people tend to think she's bad luck, but she's actually just a little baby. I could see that. Philip is an orange cat. Single brain cell organism. I'm not sure which version of the nightgown she'll have. Whether it'll be the off-the-shoulder version with the longer sleeves, or the higher neck version with fitted sleeves at the wrist. I'm not sure because I like both. What are we thinking? Let's call let's call this one version B and this one version A. So what are we thinking? We have A. Or we have B. What are we thinking? These are just sketches, so that's why they're besties. That's why they're besties, Your Honor. You're so right. Kind of animal Cyril will be then. Cyril has been more so with his pirate version, but Cyril has been compared mostly to a snake. And honestly, yeah, that tracks. You vote for A? Okay, okay. I do really like this neck version. This is more accurate to what she wears in the book. Slash books, plural. This is more historically accurate, so it is more accurate to what she would be wearing, even though this isn't a historical fiction. It's very much based off of that, and I really do like that neckline for that reason. This one is just more drama. I was gonna say dramatic, but drama. This one is giving like Phantom of the Opera. This one is giving like gothic horror. So you've gotta choose. Oh, 2 votes for B. Brontë, you're getting beaten out. Keeping in mind that because this is YouTube, I cannot stream certain things. The plan is that she is going to be bloody, so just keep that in mind. The nightgown will probably be damaged, so include those in your considerations. And technically version B is closer to what her doll wears, but you know, that's for fashion, the drama. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about how long all this hair took me. And Cyril's hands. Cyril's hands were like sort of easy because they're mirrored. They're just flipped versions of each other. But also, I had to change them because of... Excuse me, oh my goodness. I had to change them because of how her hair goes over like each of his hands. Now I feel bad. Change my mind to A. I can't believe Brontë pulled the victory back from the brink. This is why I need you guys, because I could never choose because I like both too much. But yeah, like imagine a little bit bloody, maybe a little bit tattered, you know, the vibes. Choose between Phantom of the Opera and gothic horror. You're praying for my downfall. I know. Choose between 2 immaculate options is tough. The only other thing I have to consider is whether or not Brontë is going to have a necklace, and by necklace I mean her little cross. She obviously does not wear a blessed one for ouchie reasons. But she does technically wear a wooden one, and she has like a wooden rosary on her belt. So I'm not sure if I want to include that or if it's gonna kind of spoil the lines, because I could have her like holding it. And then, you know, because Cyril probably wants her to have one and wear one, and she would probably do whatever he told her to. So I don't know. I'll think about giving her a necklace that she's holding. Cyril is obviously going to have his, but you won't really see his because his chest is basically right behind her, so like his cross is pinned to the fourth button down, so you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's like right here. So you're really not going to be able to see it. And he wears his cross in like he has it pinned, and this is the worst cross I've ever drawn. Has it pinned, and the chain gets pinned to that button too, so it makes this little kind of loop. But because he's got his capelet on, which is this whole part here, you might not be able to see the chain because he can wear it either way, but depending on how he wears it, the chain goes above or beneath the capelet. It just depends on his mood. So we'll see. I don't really know if you're gonna be able to see Cyril's. You'll probably be able to see the other beads slash chains, whatever you want to call them, that are part of the outfit. I haven't drawn them in yet because I'm hoping to use some CSP assets to do this. But he's basically got like on the corner, like this is where the pleats. These are the pleats. This is where the pleats start on the capelet. So he would basically have this little like pin, kind of not pin, but like a little brooch or whatever, kind of right there. And then there's like 2 loops of chain or beads or whatever you want to call them that hang off of that, and they go around to the back. And like, okay, so if you, I did this for the trailer. Hold on, let me find that. Let's see. The most voluminous hair I've seen in the ads. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. No, that's makeup. I forget. Whatever. Okay, so let's see if I want to. Let's pull up the trailer, because the trailer shows Cyril standing from the back. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about. There we go. It's quite small, but that's okay. But yeah, these little bits right here that go on the back, they start at his shoulders, so you see him from the front. But yeah, so you'll see a little bit of those. Not too much, but a little bit. Brontë is the focus of this illustration, so even though I have sketched Cyril's face in, you won't really see very much of his face because he's gonna be very much like more of a silhouette. So I've sketched in his face, but we're probably not gonna see that much detail of it. It's really just gonna be like a silhouette, probably. I haven't really sorted out the lighting that I want to do, because I could have the light source. I could have the light source, you know, coming from. That's a horrible little sun, but whatever. Start over. That's marginally better. So you could have I could have the light source coming from top down, which would mean, because again, Brontë is the focal point of this, Cyril is basically going to be a silhouette. So that would mean, let me think, how would that fall? It would mean that her face would get shaded. I'm ignoring her hair for the purpose of this example. So her face would loosely get shaded something like that if we lit it from the top, with then the rest of the shading kind of kicking in down here. Or I say shading, but I really mean like the light would hit more in like this area. And then all of this would be darker. And then obviously her hair is going to be dark. So that's one option for lighting. I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to do top-down lighting. I love your artwork. It's really amazing. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Why don't you give him some of her blood for him to keep as a lucky charm? I think you should keep reading the book. The necklace looked great. If it were blessed, her bloodied fingers would add to the drama of it all. Oh, Brontë, you're so right. I like that idea. So that's top-down lighting. And then again, keep in mind that Cyril will be either way, because irrespective of the lighting, Cyril is going to be kind of like this looming shadow behind her. This is just for visualization purposes. I did think about making Cyril... Well, you know what? I don't know if I want to say that because that's kind of a spoiler. I was thinking about... Yeah, no, just never mind. I'm not going to say it because it's kind of spoilery. Forget I said anything. One thing I will have to be careful about is obviously Cyril's gloves are black and his cassock is black and yada yada yada. But Bronte's hair is also black, so I have to be really careful that her hair and his hands don't end up super muddy and kind of hard to distinguish from one another. And I will probably, the way I'm planning on tackling that is giving Bronte's hair kind of this other kind of color that you kind of see when the light hits it, which if you've read the book, you know that if you've read the book and or seen her doll, you know that she has like a very peach pink kind of color to like her skin and everything. So I'm probably gonna add some of those like lighter, warmer colors to her hair, in terms of like the shading and the shine on her hair, and hopefully that'll be enough to help distinguish them, her hair rather, from Cyril's gloves and hands. I hope that'll work. Fingers crossed, because again, usually he is the darkest thing. Like his gloves are like the darkest thing about him, other than his personality. But I want to make sure that her hair also is as dark as it should be. So we'll see. I'll just have to be really careful about that. This little sketching that I'm doing is not accurate to the lines of her hair, so it's just to help get a visual idea. Okay, and then what I'd like to do is I'm gonna hide that one for now. And I will probably, actually, just for the sake of experimenting, Okay, and then let me see. I need to find some lighting sources / references for light coming up. Not to say that it's going to be either one of these two extremes, but it's interesting to kind of think about. So let's see. She is also tilting her head up a little bit, so that does slightly complicate things, but we'll see. That's another option. Darkest part would be mostly the bridge of her nose and kind of like the corners of her eyes. As a loose example of lighting that would be from the bottom versus lighting from the top, it's very rough, but still. Modern bikinis are getting out of hand. Oh, can you hear the new keyboard? Here, hold on. Let me try to pull this up. It's funny, on my Discord calls, people say that they can't hear it at all, but you guys are able to hear it, so that's interesting. She's like a Medusa. He's the serpent that controls her snakes. You know, you're so right. Here, let me see if you can hear the new keyboard. I'm gonna be surprised if you can, because interestingly enough, Discord cannot when I call them. I don't know. What do you think? Can you hear that? I'm so proud of the outcome of my artwork. That's great, Sarah. It's always a good feeling to feel happy with your artwork. But yeah, I think so far I do like the bottom up lighting for her face. I kind of like the vibe that that's giving. I'm not sure it's what I'm going to use. Let's take a look at the other one again. So that's top-down lighting. That's very rough. I could polish that up a little bit more to have it be a fairer comparison. And then that's bottom-up lighting. I feel like bottom-up lighting is giving more of like a gothic horror vibe because that's kind of the sort of lighting that you see in those kinds of films, and I think that's kind of why it gives that vibe. It got quieter. That's interesting because what it probably does is that when I'm speaking, my mic opens up to allow more sound in, so you probably hear it more. Versus when I'm not talking at all, but I am only typing, you can only hear it a little bit. So I wonder if I just keep talking while typing, I wonder if you can hear the keyboard. See, now I'm just going to start laughing so you're not going to be able to hear anything. And I can't type and laugh at the same time. But yes, I'm very happy with the sound of this keyboard. My friend wants me to start making like keyboard ASMR stuff. I don't think I have a high enough quality mic to do that, but maybe I'll be getting a new mic for streaming one of these days, and I can do some little ASMR keyboard stuff to make that one friend happy. I am very happy with my new keyboard though. I'm already planning my next keyboard, and I'm already convincing another friend to jump into the hobby with me. So yes, I'm enjoying it very much. And luckily, I don't have to worry about anybody getting upset about my keyboard noises because I live alone, so there's no one to get annoyed at my keyboard noises. Alright, let's see here. So I am leaning towards the bottom-up lighting. I think that looks pretty cool. I think it's going to be the most dramatic. I will have to look up some references for how that lighting would impact like the rest of her body. Because it's easy to find a reference for lighting for faces, but less so for bodies. But like as a general example, we definitely get some lighting like on the bottom of her hand and her arm. You can't really see her chest, but there would be lighting there. Basically all of this up, this would all be dark. So come back to that. I would listen to your ASMR. I'll keep that in mind. that's the general idea. I love both variants, both top and bottom lettings look wonderful. Thank you, I'm glad you like them. I'm not entirely sure which one I'll go for just yet. I think the bottom up lighting looks pretty good for her in terms of like the drama that it adds. Let me sketch a little bit more for the top down. Oops. Okay. This is done without a reference. This is just me sketching, so it's not going to be entirely accurate, but it gets some of the basics down. Play some more gothic music. I'm gonna keep to this playlist. This is one of my favorites. And this one doesn't give me a copyright strike, which is nice. I have to be careful of that when I stream. Dia, have you read or watched The Tale of Sleepy Hollow? It has been years. I think I know I read it in middle school. It's been a long time. I didn't watch it though. I just read it. And I read so much stuff back in like middle school and high school. I don't know if I could single out the memory. I should read it again. Which do you prefer, the good guy or the bad guy? Depending on the context, my answer changes. Yeah, exactly. Let's see, so this one is from top down, so I would want to actually... So, something like that for top down. Loosely. Obviously the details and everything would change. And if I do in fact make this a print, she's going to be presentable enough to not make your mother or father clutch their pearls if they walk into your room and see this on your wall. She's gonna have fabric over her. So that is top down. And then let's see about the bottom up. And I would change her eyes to have basically something like that. I wonder if I can just... Alright, so let's see. If we come up here... There we go. Now we can see them side by side. And even though that A is about the nightgown, but here, let's go ahead. There we go. Place your bets, up or down. I watched it recently. There were some scenes that reminded me of Immolation. Makes my little heart makes my little heart swell. Thank you. I would not be surprised, honestly. And I think a lot of people can relate to this. I inhaled material when I was a kid. I read like 3 or 4 books a day at minimum, probably more if they were very short. I was just reading and reading and reading constantly. And I actually, and I've mentioned this before, but when I was having Immolation Volume 1 professionally edited, I found it really funny that even though I am an American, born and raised, grew up in the American education system, granted the private American education system, but American education system in terms of like grammar and English teaching. But when I gave my editor the material for Immolation, they were like, so you spell like an American. However, your grammar is that of a British writer. I was like, oh, that's probably because I read like exclusively British authors during those middle school and high school years. So my point is that it would not surprise me if reading like Sleepy Hollow, like in that just slew of material that I read, impacted me and my writing in ways that I did not notice. And probably would not notice until someone pointed it out to me, the way that like my editor pointed out my grammar apparently being British. It's just funny how those things work. The up holds power. You're so right. It looks like we have a verdict. All right, so we're gonna go with bottom up lighting. Okay, so let me just put that away. Alright, so now we get to think about how we want to do Cyril. I think this could work out pretty well in the sense that his hands, it'll help kind of outline. Let's see, where's my color blocks? There they are. This will help a little bit with Cyril's hands because we can use the shading to our advantage to help really distinguish his fingers, because you'll see them with pretty bright lighting. Probably on the inside of his hand too, just a little bit. This will help give like an edge to Cyril, as if he needed to be any more edgy than he already is. I'm gonna be lazy. Let's do it. Let me see. What time is it? Hold on. Hold, please. It is almost 1 o'clock. Okay, so I probably have about a little over, like, let's say 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna need to get going. So we have some time. Let's see here. another thing to consider is I don't think you can just end the statement there. I don't think. No, I don't think that I necessarily want to have Cyril behaving as a light source on his own. Because sometimes I do have Cyril acting as a light source. However, I think the light source here, because it's going to be coming from the bottom, I don't necessarily want it to have it clashing with a secondary light source. I don't know. I'll have to ponder that, because Brontë is also going to have a halo. And that is probably in and of itself not going to be a light source. That's probably just going to be like a flat, probably textured layer that kind of sits in there. Versus Cyril's halo, which he is not, you don't see Cyril's halo in this particular illustration, but usually Cyril's halo does act as a light source. So Brontë's is not going to do that, because it's more of a illustration than it is a literal halo in the sense of like the lore of the story. Cyril has a literal halo. Brontë does not. I'm mostly talking about the windmill scene in Immolation. And though the town of Windermere seems way more advanced than Sleepy Hollow Village, still, I get similar feelings. Yeah, I wanted Immolation to feel very like classic spooky vibes, but it also needed to align with the lore of the greater world, which Immolation doesn't really get into like the lore of the wider world, especially in what's it called? Especially in like Immolation Volume 1. You'll get a little bit more, but not very much, because the whole point of Immolation is to keep it constrained to Windermere, or at least like the province. You do get to go beyond Windermere in Volume 2. You do get to go beyond the bounds of the city. Well, beyond the bounds of the immediate surroundings of the city. Carmilla is banned in my country. Is it because of the lesbians? Is it because of the lesbians? Let me see. Where did my color blocks go? There they are. I'm actually sketching all of this on top of Cyril's line layer, but that's fine. Not the end of the world. We can just make him a little bit darker. There we go. What might be nice is to have some really sharp lighting on the fabric of his cassock. That could look pretty cool. Because even though he is going to be... I'm trying to kind of strike a balance here, which I may or may not be able to do. We'll find out kind of during the rendering stages of this piece. But I kind of want to strike a balance between something that's very stylized and kind of like almost like a 2D flat piece, and something with, you know, some really pretty rendering on it. So I have to find that balance. We'll see if I can do it. Most likely some dark romance books as well. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. In like a pretty conservative... I mean, even here in the United States, depending on where you go, certain states will ban books that they think are like too saucy. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like any book that has like any kind of LGBT stuff, like if you go to Texas, ooh, banned. I live in California, so we don't really do that here, but yeah. Well, I mean, we might ban books that are like pro bad stuff that I'm not going to mention on YouTube in case they take my stream down. Um, but yeah, like LGBT stuff, we don't usually see that banned here because California is not a very conservative state. But there are some states in the U.S. that are very conservative, and so they tend to swing that way. Hello, Babel. Welcome in. Everybody say happy anniversary to Babel and her husband. They are celebrating 10 years. Give them a round of applause for not chewing each other's heads off after 10 years. But congratulations to both of you. Let's see, set this here. That adds in a little bit of tricky lighting, but I don't know, could be worth it. One idea is to have basically the underside of Cyril's cassock, which you're really not going to see too much of, but I haven't added like a back layer in yet, so we could be seeing a little bit more. But for Cyril, one idea is to kind of help distinguish him from Brontë, and again, to keep things from being a little bit too muddy, is I might have all of his lighting actually end up being, oops, oh, not enough memory. Okay, good, great. We're off to a good start. All right, that's okay. Not enough memory to perform that function. I'll do it myself. What I will probably do is something like that, where basically Cyril's light shading, highlights, whatever you want to call them, will have like a gold color to them, and Bronte's will have more of like that very pale peach white color. I think that'll be a nice way to distinguish between the two of them, so it doesn't get too muddy. This piece is so pretty. Thank you. I'm really happy with how it's coming along so far. The fact that I'm beta reading for you is my secret. Ooh, you dirty scoundrel. I don't know what you're talking about. My books are very pure and very upstanding moral material. Yeah, so that's just kind of one thing that I'm kind of thinking of, and then actually it could be fun to have kind of like the inside where the light is hitting him. Have that could be gold, and that could maybe have like a nice texture to it as well. That could kind of help blend some of the stylized versus the really highly rendered stuff. I think that'll look cool. It probably makes no sense if you're not me. I'm picturing this with like a texture overlay and like some really deep colors, and I know that's not what my sketch is reflecting, but that's what I'm envisioning. It's even got priests in them, exactly. But then, yeah, so let me see here. If I... This is going to be pretty... Well, I don't know. We'll try. Yeah, we're not going to see a big difference here because I have the opacity really low, but that's totally fine. Okay, fine. Not enough memory. I get it. I'm working on a very big canvas because I want this to be a print, so my sigh is like, wait, I can't do it. I prefer not to wear a real fur coat. I can't say that I've ever... Well, technically we own one because it was... I say we. My mom owns one. I believe it's a mink coat and hat, and it's like from the 50s or so. And it was a... What is... Inheritance? Is that the word? I think it's the right word. Inheritance from my late grandmother, and it's just sitting in a closet somewhere because we don't wear it. Well, she doesn't wear it. Yeah, I can't say that I would like deliberately go buy it. That's about as far as it goes. Cyril is a very pure priest. Yes, of course, absolutely. You're so right. Can't wait to get this as a print. I'm really hoping that it comes out well. I have some ideas, and I'm hoping they work out. Let's see. Oh, that was my light source. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oh, and Babel, you missed it, but these were the two lighting options that we chose between. So the council has spoken, and they chose up, which is on the left. So lighting is from the bottom coming up, which I think was an excellent choice. Let's see. Then I think this is just the other eye shine. Yeah, I can get rid of that. All right, well I've hit the memory limit because it's not letting me do anything. So let me clean up this canvas a little bit so my sigh will stop dying. Saying we also got just such an inheritance. I wouldn't want to wear any of it. Yeah, exactly. My mom has no desire to wear it, so it's just kind of sitting there. Let's see, I can get rid of that. Let's find some layers that I can get rid of. Oh, here we go. I've got a bunch of these that I can get rid of. Come on, let me merge the layer. I'm trying to make it easier on you, Sai. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that helped it, because it was having trouble saving. It still is chugging in order to save the game. Okay, there we go. It actually saved it, so we're good. You dropped new bombs about future projects last time. I had no time to even ask questions. Is Cyril going to be the main character in all of them? Probably not. I would have to ponder that. Because at least a couple of them will probably end up in a similar um, category as Black Knight, which is to say that it's Cyril, but like an alternate version of Cyril. So same character, he's just a slightly different flavor. We uh we threw him in a bag of spices and shook him up and dumped him out. Um, the novella that is planned for to accompany Immolation. I don't know if it'll be released after Volume 2 or if it'll have to wait until after Volume 3. I'm not entirely sure. Probably between Volume 2 and Volume 3. That novella, the main character is not Cyril. So there's at least one that is not going to be Cyril as the main character. Cyril will be in it, obviously, because it's a Immolation novella, so he's involved because he's involved in that storyline, but he's not the main character. Um, Obviously, the pirate storyline is going to be Cyril. It's his original canon version of himself, so he'll be popping up there. Obviously, he's. I'm not sure if we consider him the main character because, in a lot of ways, in novels like Immolation or like the pirate storyline, the rather than like a single main character, it's more like there is a cast of characters. Cyril is still the main character, but there's several main characters. So in the pirate storyline, the main character is probably going to lean more towards being Evangeline, because she's kind of the lead there, and Cyril more kind of slots into the traditional quote-unquote villain role there. In Immolation, Cyril is playing both the role of a protagonist and well, I don't know if you would call him a villain. I guess that depends on your point of view. He's a protagonist in Immolation. He is one of the characters who is like driving the plot forward, and it's like his journey, yada yada yada. Versus the pirate storyline, Cyril is fully the villain. He's fully the bad guy. That's his original incarnation. He's just there to make sure everybody has a terrible time. And Evangeline is the protagonist. So that's a little bit of a different dynamic. So he's not technically the main character, but he is the villain of that story. Obviously, Immolation, he's the protagonist, so he ends up being the main character, or one of the main characters in the cast. Black Knight, obviously, he's in it. The novella, he's not the main character of, but he is in it. For some of the other ones, let me think. For at least one other of them, I don't think Cyril's in it at all. I'm not entirely decided, but he's definitely not a main character. There is a character who you might meet, maybe. There's a character that you may meet in Immolation Volume 2. I have not 100% decided if he is going to be present or not. He might be. But there is a character in Immolation Volume 2, maybe, who is the main character of one of those other projects. So that other project would not have Cyril as the main character. I don't even know if he'd be in it. Probably not. But we'll see. So to answer your question, no, he's not the main character in every single one of those. He might be the villain. He might be tangentially mentioned, he might not be included at all. But it does, most of them, all of them, most of them, most of them, most of them do take place in the same world in which Cyril exists. So I don't know, he can be like in the background having a coffee or like killing somebody, I don't know, strangling someone to death in the background. Evangeline rules the pirate storyline, yay. Yes, she does. Evangeline, or Angelique if you end up reading Black Knight Shining. She got a cheeky rename. She's not that much different. No, she's a little bit different in the pirate storyline. Yeah, she's different in the pirate storyline. I'd like to say that Black Knight Shining is a slightly younger Evangeline. Like Angelique is like a slightly younger version, where she's more hot-headed, she's more angry, she is not very nice. Versus the pirate storyline, she's a little bit older. She's a little bit more mature. She takes things a little bit more seriously because she's supposed to be further along in her career, for lack of a better word. She's been a knight for a longer period of time. She's got a more direct influence and more experience with like working with the military as a knight. So her dynamic is a little bit different in the pirate storyline versus Black Knight Shining. Black Knight Shining is like a very simplified version of her, where she's younger and brattier, and she's a lot of fun, but it's not necessarily a fair first introduction to a character who is actually not nearly as terrible. She's definitely still like the dynamic between her and Cyril is still one that is very unhealthy and toxic, but like it makes sense in the pirate storyline because Cyril's a horrible person. He's a horrible person all the time, but you get what I mean. So it's not like that they're trying to work together and Evangeline / Angelique is being horrible to him anyways. It's that they are like sworn enemies literally trying to kill each other, and so yeah, obviously they're like gonna be horrible to one another because like of course they would be. So we'll see kind of how all that plays out. That is all very far in the future because writing takes a long time. I'm excited nevertheless. It'd be great to find little Easter eggs of Cyril in other books. I'm glad you think so. I hope it's fun for people to kind of see little bits of the various Cyrils floating around in other books. I'd like to think that that's kind of fun. But yeah, I'm excited to, even just with Immolation Volume 2, you get to see the world expand a little bit because you start having characters coming into the story who are from outside of Windermere. And yes, you have Domingo in Volume 1 who comes from beyond Windermere. So he's like, what the hell is wrong with all you people? But you have more people that will be coming in and like similarly going, wow, what the hell is wrong with you people? So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I am undecided on whether or not that character that I mentioned, who is the main character in another project, I'm not sure if he is going to be in Volume 2. He was originally supposed to be in Volume 2, but I will have to see how that plays out because I'm still very much going through like my developmental editing of the manuscript and kind of like sorting out like, does this feel right for the story? Does the pacing feel okay? Um, I'm already introducing a lot of characters um, in Volume 2, so you're already going to be meeting a lot of people. So I'm kind of deciding whether or not I can squish one more in there, or if that's going to be a little bit too overwhelming because it's going to be too many new people to meet. I do try to, when introducing new characters, I do try to keep the introductions kind of like spaced out throughout. I don't want to just like give you a list of people like page 2 and be like, here's 27 new names that you need to memorize. Have fun. This will be on the final. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Including him might be a little bit too much, or it might be perfect. We'll see. Because I have, let me think. I'm counting on my fingers. You can't see me, but I'm counting on my fingers. I'm probably missing characters just like off the top of my head, but off the top of my head, we have at least 7 new characters coming in for Immolation Volume 2. That includes the guy who may or may not be in the final version. But yeah, so like at minimum, you're going to be meeting 7 new characters for Volume 2. So take from that what you will. No, I can see Angelique being more honorable than she lets on with Ephraim. I think so. I would like to think that she comes across that way. I mean, she does have a sense of honor, but she's my goal was to make it clear that she's frustrated that she has to rely on coin guards or mercenaries, however you'd like to define them, because she doesn't like the idea of people fighting for money. She thinks that's dishonorable, which we see a little bit of her way of thinking kind of in the very beginning of the book. I don't know. Some of the other beta readers said that wasn't clear, so I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, but my hope was that that was clear, but part of her frustration with coin guards is because she's also very disillusioned, even though she's a very young knight. She hasn't been doing it all that long. She is already very disillusioned with like knighthood and what knights should be and how they should act versus how she sees them handling themselves. So it's meant to be about that, but people usually, well, I say people, but like the other beta readers all just went, she's really unpleasant. I'm like, oh, okay. That's all you've got to say? Are you talking about the flirty demon guy seductively saying, hey? No, I'm not. I'm not talking about him. I don't think he's gonna be in. I don't know if he's gonna show up in Immolation or not. He's tangentially related to Immolation because you do meet a character in Volume 2 who is related to Mr. Demon Guy. That's his name officially, Mr. Demon Guy. You do meet a character who is related to him and like aligned with him, yada yada yada, but he himself probably not going to be involved. I remain undecided. we'll see. So he might have a presence, but like him as a character popping up in person, so to speak, probably unlikely, but who knows? You never know. Mr. Demon Guy is more a character who, while I am using him in Black Knight, he is more a character that is involved with the pirate storyline. So he's more kind of in that realm of storytelling versus Immolation, but again, he does kind of tangentially show up. His influence, for lack of a better word, does kind of show up in Immolation. Angelique is super young, idealistic, and hurt. You're right. I am doing my best, Vontae. I've had quite the week, but I did say that I was gonna get you the next 5 chapters, and I'm committed to that. That's why I need to get out of here in probably like 15 minutes, because I have writing to do for you to get you the next 5 chapters, and let's just say there's hurt incoming. So look forward to that. Hopefully I can get it to you by the end of the day. I did say it was supposed to be this week, so I'm gonna do my best to hold to it. Fingers crossed. Let's see here. I'm going to save a duplicate of this because I'm getting nervous. Noting the book for the second time to make sure I don't miss anything. I have a friend who's going through it and leaving annotations as well. I love annotating books. I get a lot of fun from doing that. Alright. So now I think I do need to ponder the hands. So we have these hands down here, and I have a couple of ideas. Technically 3. There's technically 3 options. One option is that they are just normal hands, so they won't have any particular characteristics about them. They are just going to look like normal hands. They'll probably be... I haven't decided if this is going to be colored or grayscale yet. I will be taking votes whether you guys want this colored or grayscale. But they will just be plain hands, nothing particularly special about them, just normal human-looking hands. So that's one option. The other option is kind of like what I mentioned. Where we get some bones, some little skeleton hands. I don't have a chart of bones in front of me, so I know this isn't accurate. I will not be taking constructive criticism at this time. So, you know, just so you can get the idea. So we have skeleton hands as an option, just normal hands as another option. then the other option, which is a little bit of a callback to the Hellfire animatic. And it would basically be, I'm not sure what the best way to word it would be, but they will be bloody hands. Because if you're unsure of the symbolism, basically, like what we see in Hellfire, Cyril, first of all, he's a vampire hunter. If you didn't know that, Cyril's a vampire hunter. Hi, my name's Dia, and this is my son. He hunts vampires. So, in a little bit of a callback, this is like a little bit symbolic of all the vampires that Cyril has killed. And so, in some ways, and so these would be goopy, nasty, bloody hands. So those are the options. We've got bones, we got blood, and we got benormal. The 3 B's. I'm excited to make sure to sleep, rest, breathe, eat. We'll see. I'll most likely be sweetly sleeping. You'll be snoozing while I'm stressing. But hopefully by the time you wake up, I will have those chapters ready for you. And I shall eagerly await your thoughts. I like skeletons, but bloody handsies, yeah. My original thought was the bloody hands. That was going to be the original version. Because remember, like, kind of what I mentioned while sketching out the nightgown. The nightgown is going to be damaged and a little bit bloody, because the original idea, if you have not, I'm not going to say that, never mind. No, I'm not even going to say it. The nightgown is going to be damaged, so there's going to be blood on the nightgown, and basically the idea was there would be blood coming, down the nightgown, and then it would be stained at the bottom from the hands that are grabbing her. So that was the original idea. That's very rough, but you get the idea. So bloody hands were the original idea. But I'm open to your thoughts. I'll be working when you snooze, though. It's true. It's true. We're on that opposite schedule. Yeah. Go ahead and cast your votes, and then I'm gonna have to call it a day and wrap up here, because I also have to pick up groceries today, so I need to make some time for that because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet, so I'm eager to get some groceries and make some cheeky little late breakfast / lunch. Like, I should get my obligatory closing music. Hold on. Do you think bloodied skeletons with muscle tissue on them would be way too much? Hmm. So I like the idea because that is technically what I was insinuating with Hellfire, like back in the day. I just made them like red because I was really, really scared of YouTube like taking down the video because they were upset that it was too like violent or whatever, even though it's very cartoony. But Cyril is not nice to vampires, so I like the idea of them, first of all, looking kind of like desiccated corpses. So you would see bone, you would see flesh falling off, you would see all of that, and then there would be blood, of course, because they they bleed. So I am up for that. My only thought is that, especially because of Cyril in the background, my only other concern is that it would make. Let me try to get a little illustration version of this. So my only concern now is that basically like from here down, like this half of the canvas, because we have Bronte's nightgown, we have the shading that's very dramatic on her body, we have Cyril's cassock in the background. Having these arms be super detailed, I worry that it's going to make the canvas a little bit too busy on this kind of lower half. That's like kind of my only concern or thought right now, is especially because I do want the focus again to be Bronte. So I don't necessarily want the hands to be too detailed in the sense that they would detract from her. But I don't know. It could also look really cool. So I'll probably just have to sketch a couple versions and decide which one I think looks the best. Because there's also going to be, right now it's empty, but all this space, all of this, right? So all this empty space right here, that is going to be filled in. I'm not exactly sure with what. It's probably going to be like some generic, like Gothic window, you know. It's guys, you know, there's like some cathedral-esque something, window, arch, whatever. So there's that space is going to be filled in. So I just want to be careful that it's not going to be too busy. But let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be working on this for a good while because this is a big project. Get rid of this line to the wall. But we'll see. Like I said, I am going to be working on this for a while just because it's a big project, because I am lining it, and that obviously takes a lot longer than my normal sketches. I also have approximately 1,000,000,001 other things to do at any given time. So we'll see. As I work on it and I sketch different versions, I'm sure I will kind of land on what feels the best for the piece. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably start with blocking out Cyril and Bronte and getting them like properly colored and shaded and so on, and then I'll kind of judge from there whether things feel too busy or whether I feel like I have enough visual space to add the hands in. So we'll see how it goes. But with that, I am going to wrap it up for the day. I have to pick up some groceries, I have to do some chores, and then I have to get to writing. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you had a good time. It was a pleasure, as always, to host you. I stream every other Sunday here at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, even though the time has changed, there is a time jump for some of us. It is going to be 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I hope you guys can make it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful week to come, and I will see you guys next time.